Win, well, first of all, I really love the album, the new album Reflector.
Thank you.
First of all, I thought, hey, this is really something else. Was it an adventure making Reflector?
Absolutely. I mean, we always take our time making an album. And the kind of beginning of this one was we actually, after the Grammys, we took a trip to Haiti as a band and played in Haiti, rural Haiti, for the first time. And it really opened something different up in the band. And we kind of vowed that the next time we went back, we'd have a lot of songs that we could play there that would get people moving. So yeah, it's really, it took us from Haiti to Louisiana to Jamaica to New York City, and so it really felt like we were making a film or something.
A real adventure traveling all over these places.
Yeah, exactly.
What did you find in Haiti? Why did you go to Haiti?
Well, my wife her family is from Haiti, and they had to leave in the 60s during the Duvalier dictatorship. So I knew about Haiti through her family, her uncles. We'd go to Christmas parties and we'd be listening to Haitian music and they'd be drinking rum punch, and it's snowing outside, in Montreal, and we're drinking rum punch and eating Haitian food. And so I was always really curious to go. But what I found there was this incredibly deep culture, and the carnival tradition in Haiti is just incredible. I mean, I'm sure it was similar in Europe, but hundreds of years ago. But it's this incredibly artistic kind of folk art, powerful, deep African music, kind of hybrid. It really felt like kind of going to the Old Testament or something like that, like something from a different time.
But very different from Arcade Fire.
Well, we've had songs always that have been kind of more rhythmic or dancey, and I feel like we played a lot with Haitian percussionists on this album, and we have two excellent percussionists in the band now, and so it's kind of brought out some of those things in the music.
And what was it like to be in Haiti?
It's one of my favorite places on earth. People are really beautiful, and there's a lot of problems in Haiti, but there's also a lot of beauty and a lot of really pure art and music, and I learn a lot every time I go there. I feel like I come back kind of changed every time.
Musically
and personally.
Also personally?
Yeah.
In what sense?
You just meet people who... I remember being in rural Haiti, and there was this farmer that we met. One second. Yeah, so we were in rural Haiti, and we met this farmer. His name was Tizoiseau, little bird in Creole, and he was like, "Oh, you're musicians. I'm a singer too." And we're like, "Oh, sing us a song." And he just started singing, and it was like pre-Delta blues, just the heaviest lyrics, like Delta blues crossed with Jacques Brel. It was just like one of the heaviest things I'd ever heard. Regine was translating for me the lyrics, just this farmer just a cappella singing, and so you get exposed to this music that hasn't existed in the States since 1940. You know what I mean? You hear these really, really pure musical expressions, which is very inspiring as an artist.
Did these people in Haiti have any clue who Arcade Fire is?
Maybe in Port-au-Prince, like maybe in certain circles, but not in rural Haiti. They don't know who the Beatles are in rural Haiti, so they definitely don't know who Arcade Fire is.
So how was that?
It's great. I mean, it was really interesting just to play for a bunch of people who've never heard the Beatles before. It's kind of liberating.
Liberating?
Yeah.
In what respect?
You're just kind of stripped of the whole context of rock music, because you don't realize it, but when you hear music, you have a lot of context to kind of guide you. Because, rock music's been around for 50, 60 years, and so there's a lot of things you take for granted. And when you kind of remove that context, all you're left with is rhythm and emotion and melody, and you kind of have these basic building blocks to kind of connect with people. And so we were able to find that in our own music. And it, it's very easy to get in this cycle of touring and promoting an album, and it kind of just got right back to the core of why we do what we do, and I think just gave us this burst of energy that we're kind of still riding off of.
And why is it that you do what you do?
I mean, we've always wanted to connect with an audience. Like when we would do our shows, even 10, 15 years ago, the goal was to, whether it was positive or more confrontational, the goal was always just to really connect with the people who were there. And so, I mean, that's why every tour we've pretty much always started back in small venues, and we kind of pretend like we're starting a new band every single time, and we're like working our way up from playing on the floor to playing on a stage to playing bigger shows. And so we've been doing that this time as well.
Starting all over again every time?
Every time.
Why is that?
I think for us, we don't want to be big, fat, old rock stars that take things for granted. I mean, our goal is to make something that if that was our first record, people would be like, have you heard this? Like, people would be excited about it. We don't want people just to buy something because they know our name and they know, I hope that we've established at least a certain amount of quality control for our albums.
But you're trying to reinvent yourselves every time again?
I mean, I feel like our band could have been called The Funerals or The Neon Bibles or The Suburbs or The Reflectors. So I feel like we've kind of done that every time.
And why is that? I mean, is it because it's going to be boring otherwise, or?
It's not about being boring. It's just, I think art and music is about trying to be alive. And I've always pictured it as there's the band and there's the audience, and when you're singing, there's a song. The song is kind of in between the audience and the band, and so you're trying to both reach the song. And when it really works, that's what happens, is that you meet in the middle, like you're both connecting to the song. So it's not just like resting on your laurels and playing a bunch of hits and getting paid. It's more about trying to connect, because otherwise I think all of us would have things we'd rather be doing.
But by doing every time something else, I mean, there is a chance that you disconnect from your audience, that people won't like it anymore.
That's fine. I mean, it takes us a while to make an album, so, there's kids who have graduated high school since we put out the last album. That's something that happens naturally. I still am thinking about it like in 20 years when people buy, when I was a kid, I would buy albums of bands that have been broken up for 15 years, and it's not about the press and it's not about reading articles. It's just about hearing something and connecting to it. So I still feel like we haven't done anything until some kid buys our album in 20 years. And Funeral's only 10 years old, so we're only halfway there.
And do you know already what the road ahead looks like?
Thankfully, no.
Now, you say we don't want to be old fart rock stars, but all the old fart rock stars seems to love Arcade Fire.
No, it's not. I just mean that there's most of the musicians that we've really connected to are older and have managed to be artists and do it, and it's really rare because there's a lot of musicians that just kind of phoned it in for a long period of time. But I mean, like one of our first New York shows, David Bowie and David Byrne both came to one of our first shows in New York, and they're two of the best examples of artists that have really just followed their artistic impulses. And if David Bowie puts out an album, you're going to listen to it because you know that he's not full of shit. You know that he's like really thought about it. So I think that's, and we played a show recently with Neil Young, who's someone like that as well. It's amazing watching Neil Young sing now, because he sings these songs that he wrote when he was 22. They were written for him to sing when he was 70. Like Old Man, he wrote when he was 22, and he sings it now, and it's like, in a way, it's deeper now than it was then. So
What
Tom Waits or anything.
people who are reinventing themselves all the time?
Pretty much, yeah.
What's it like to play with people like David Bowie, U2, Mick Jagger?
It's incredible. I mean, I had a really powerful experience listening to Sympathy for the Devil when we were working on our album. I was in this bar in Montreal, and there's the film Rock and Roll Circus. That's a Rolling Stones film, and it's the first time they played Sympathy for the Devil, and I was watching it, and it kind of just hit me. If we're gonna bother to make an album, that's the standard, So when we were working on Reflector, it was like, okay, we're going for Sympathy for the Devil. We're not going for some indie rock album. It's kind of like something to aspire to,
Yeah. And what's it like that these people now want to play with you?
We've been probably the luckiest band in that regard, I mean, we've played with Springsteen and U2 and Bowie, David Byrne, Neil Young. It's kind of absurd. It's about as good as it gets, really.
Is it like a dream come true?
I wasn't ever a dream. It's more just those are the moments that make you really grateful to do what you do.
But I mean, you're a rock superstar now as well.
Not exactly, but we've connected with those people on a purely musical level. That's the most satisfying part of it. It's not like we met at the Grammys. It's we met over music, and so for us, it's really as much of it as can be about music as possible. It's kind of what we're going for.
Back to Haiti. The island was devastated in an earthquake a couple of years ago. Did you see any of that when you were there? How's the island doing now?
I mean, Port-au-Prince was hit so hard, I think it'll be 50 years before it's back. Like literally 50 years. But a lot of the rest of Haiti wasn't touched, and so you see a lot of positive things and a lot of negative things. But we've been working there since way before the earthquake, and we'll be working there our whole lives. So you just try and stay focused and stay on the path. I mean, I'll be in Haiti when I'm 80 years old. I'm sure of it.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
How's the relief operation doing? I mean, did it have any impact on?
Yeah, I mean,
billions of dollars went to Haiti.
Yeah, millions. I had this moment. We were in New York the other day. We were in Rockefeller Center after playing with Mick Jagger, and the after party's right in the middle of Rockefeller Center, and I have a cocktail in my hand, and I looked up at Rockefeller Center and realized there was more money just in Rockefeller Center, that square block of Manhattan, more infrastructure than all of Haiti, just in a 4-block area of Manhattan. So people talk about a lot of money going to Haiti, but it's not a lot of money. It's nothing. And most of the major European countries and Canada and the US reneged on most of the promises they made to Haiti. So, I think it's easy to criticize, but whatever. Haiti had to repay France the value of the slaves after they got their independence. So they've been pretty much crippled since 1804 by basically just racism. So I think that what Haiti's been able to accomplish, considering that they freed the slaves 60 years before the U.S. freed the slaves, is pretty incredible.
Yeah. Any lessons to be learned for the Philippines now from Haiti?
No, I mean, I think that people have to really think about who they're supporting if you give money to a charity, because not all charity work is the same. I mean, we've worked with an organization called Partners in Health that is one of the best NGOs in the world, but you have to really look into it because there's a lot of people doing really bad work as well.
Yeah. Now, you're starting the tours, playing small venues now. You explained why. Are you going to come back big?
Yeah, we're part of this tour has been to help conceptualize what we want to do if we play bigger shows, to try and translate this nightclub feeling to a bigger show. Because what we're really trying to accomplish is carnival, and carnival works with a lot of people. If people really go for it, it really becomes about the audience more than about the band. And so our goal is to try and figure out a way to bring that spirit to bigger shows.
So it's a kind of a tryout now.
Yeah, it's more of like a traveling art project that's in progress.
Is it fun?
It's really fun. It's probably the most fun we've ever had as a band touring, I would say. Yeah.
And you mean these small venues, or?
It's not even about the venues. Just playing all new music. Really, it just really feels alive, and it. Everyone in the band's really happy. We're getting along really well. There's a lot of people, so sometimes the odds of everyone being in a good state of mind are pretty slim. So it's been really, really positive and really exciting. Yeah.
And especially after 3 years of working on an album. Is it right that you worked 3 years? What do you do when
you always take time just to reset, and then we spend a lot of time writing. So we'll often spend a year just writing songs, and then another year and a half to start recording them.
And when you start writing songs, do you know what the outcome will be? Do you have a direction already, or
usually,
how does that work?
Yeah, usually you just kind of get an inspiration for a sound, and you kind of have an idea of where you're going, and then part of it is just the journey.
Because there's a lot of dance now, of electronics. This is all new to Arcade Fire music, isn't it?
It's not new. I mean, there's a lot of electronics on the suburbs. My brother does a lot of synth stuff, and like Ready to Start and No Celebration. There was a lot of things that were kind of dancier and had electronics. Sprawl 2 is very, very electronic. Mm-hmm. But it was more of an expansion of stuff we had kind of already started to work on. Yeah.
Was it difficult to get David Bowie on the album? How did that go?
We had started. Yeah, we were very close on Funeral, and we kind of fallen out of touch. And I had been emailing with him. I just had been kind of thinking about him because he'd kind of just wondering how he was doing, and so we were kind of in correspondence just around when his album came out. And so when we were working on Reflector, we were in New York, and I had always had this idea for a third voice in the song. So I sent him the song, and he was really up for it. And there was this really cool thing because we were mixing at Electric Lady Studios in New York, which is a very famous recording studio. And the last time Bowie had been there was recording Fame with John Lennon. And that was literally the last time he had been in the studio. And he was like, oh, last time I was here, I was with John Lennon recording Fame. And we were having him do a backing vocal that was kind of echoing Fame. And so there was this really cool kind of generational bridge that was happening that I think we were both kind of excited about.
Must have been a very special moment.
It was very cool. And James Murphy, who was there, who was helping with the session, literally the first single he ever bought was Fame. So he was just like a kid in a candy store. We're all very happy.